And yes, Conor's a southpaw, but the reason I'm doing this is because he was also facing a southpaw, which is a whole nother string of issues. Guys, this is way more complex than, oh, the defense to a low kick is to cover. So why didn't he cover? This is way more complex than that. All right, you guys, let's talk about this low kick and why Conor didn't just cover. Why didn't he check it? And there's a lot of reasons as to why that didn't happen. Here's what people are talking about. She low leg kicks me. The target is usually this peripheral nerve. It's like hitting your funny bone. It just makes your leg dead, which eventually means I can't put weight on it, which eventually means I can't move, and also I can't really throw because I can't bear enough weight to throw anything with any significance. The cover, when she throws, I block with my shin. And it's not just a straight up and down block. I have to actually turn my leg out to meet it, okay? If all I do is come straight, she's gonna kick through and just swing my body around. So I actually have to turn my shin and meet it and put my weight into it so that I don't get moved. Another thing that happens is sometimes I'm sweaty. And so if I don't flex my feet to catch it, this kick, do it slow-mo, will slide off of my sweat and cut through to my other leg, right? So I have to actually flex my toes to my face to make a hook so that we're sweaty. If it slides, I catch it, same stuff. So one of the ways she's going to counter my defense is when I check, so we have a whole fight, she's throwing a low kick, whole fight, I check. She's actually gonna cut underneath my kick to take out the low part of my other leg. She comes right underneath it to kick my other leg. So here's the thing and why this applies to the calf kick that Porier was hitting Conor with. So she kicks me on the calf, which is right about here where Conor was getting hit, okay? First of all, the covering is a little more difficult because if I cover the technical way, it's going to be too high. She throws this, I read leg kick, it's going to come, if she's aiming here, so put your leg here, I cover the low line kick, it's going to come underneath, take my other leg out, possibly sweep me. So the thing to realize here is that in the chaos of a fight, it is reaction, not thought. There is no time, and it is almost impossible to think, when you train so often for this level of a kick, I'm going to cover this high. It is next to impossible to think, to see her hip move, and in that split second, I register it as a low kick, and it's going to come lower. So it's almost impossible to think, oh, I see her kick moving, oh, it's not going to come as high, I'm going to lift it not as high. Okay, because my reaction, if I see her hip, give me a fake, is going to be that, and it comes this high. I'm not going to go, oh, her hip, oh, it's that level. That's not going to happen in the midst of a fight. Another thing about reaction is that Conor is a evasive mobility fighter. So he's this. She throws a low kick, he's this guy, and then a counter. He's never been this guy, just combos. He's never been that guy. He's been this guy. Even his head movement is like, he's never been this guy. And stand in the pocket like that. Even in the pocket, he's wham, 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 right? The reflex that he's trained is evade. He's not going to decide in a fight, it's almost impossible under duress, to change. And he did, because what he started doing was this. When he couldn't move anymore, all it took was 2 or 3 of those low calf kicks to eliminate Conor's number one thing, which is mobility and being able to move. So he ate a few, couldn't do that anymore, now he had to think. In the midst of a fight, you won't be able to adjust the height of how you cover. It's impossible. I'm just going to say that. Maybe you'll find something somewhere, but without studying and planning for it and training that reflex, not going to happen. You're going to cover how you cover. professional, and he is one of the best, he did adjust his defense the best he could. He started catching. He did make the adjustment. And for people to go online and be like, why didn't he see that coming? Why didn't he start checking? He made the adjustment. And the adjustment was he started catching it. And then it didn't work. Because even to catch it, you have to eat it still. And this kick on the calf is like when you wake up in the middle of the night and you get that Charlie horse in your calf muscle and it hurts, but that happens every time you step. And so what eventually finished the fight was Conor got clipped, had to back up, and he had to hold himself with his butt on the cage even, and all he could do was this. And he couldn't even pivot off, because that puts weight on here. He couldn't pivot this way, because that puts weight on his lead leg. And yes, Conor's a southpaw, but the reason I'm doing this is because he was also facing a southpaw, which is a whole nother string of issues. Guys, this is way more complex than, oh, the defense to a low kick is to cover. So why didn't he cover? This is way more complex than that, okay? He couldn't move anymore, he couldn't circle off, and you're only gonna last in the pocket with someone winging punches at you for so long. And he was trying to wait the bell out, because the round almost ended. He was trying to wait the bell out so that he could survive and get to the next round. To just break it into this simple thing, because it's a fraction of a second, and a fight is all reflex. That's why you spend hours in the gym. How many hours do you think Jess and I have spent just covering the kick? And then you make it a little more complex. And now we're going to start moving and doing the movement. That's a long time of hours while I have the time to think and she can play with me to help with my success.
If in a fight you start showing the wear and tear of damage, you start limping, you start visibly wincing when you're getting hit, rest assured that injury is severe. It is all the way on the opposite end of the spectrum and severe. Because most of the time, you can eat leg kicks and it's like, you'll be okay, you're gonna hurt tomorrow.
The next day you can't walk.
The next week, the next whatever. But if in the moment, in the fight, you're reacting like that, it's bad.
I can say this from experience, because this happened when Amanda Nunez, same camp, when I fought her, she did that low kick to me. It actually tore my ACL. But I remember being in the fight and thinking something's wrong because I feel it in the fight. And you can see, like, you already lose here when you start feeling pain that bad in the fight. It's a long hill to climb.
Fighters will be stupid and ignore it if we can. Like, for as long as we can.
Adrenaline is a hell of a drug.
Yes, it is. But if it's showing that quickly, it's because it's a really severe, painful injury.
To jump on the internet and be like, told you, overrated, Jake Paul's gonna beat him, blah, 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 all this crap, is not only A, wrong, because he lost to arguably the best lightweight in the world right now, but it's also very insulting to Porier and the accomplishment he made, to say that Conor's nothing and always has been and he's washed up and blah, blah, blah. Like, Conor at his best got beat by Porier at his best. And that's the way it should be said. Because Porier is a hell of a fighter. And he's been one of my favorites for a while just because he's so entertaining to watch in the ring. And to say anything other than Conor's one of the best in the world and Porier won really diminishes the accomplishment that Porier made. So I hope this sheds a little light on Conor's a professional, why didn't he just cover? And what went on in that ring. And yeah. Here are some evade the low kick counters that you can do. So she throws a low kick, it doesn't matter if it's a regular low kick or if it's this lower calf kick. You can evade simply by switching your feet. The same switch I would use to throw a left kick. So she goes, and now I made her miss, I can counter, and it's wound me up for this to be a power kick rather than just a tippy tap. So she throws it. The other thing I can do is step in and come with the other leg. The switch, step, and that's a high kick, or it can be anywhere. The kicks can be anywhere, right? So she goes. And then the last one, it's not the last one, but a third one, is you see people throw this switch jab, which turns this into a cross, actually, a power shot. It disguises it because it sets up as a jab. But now when I switch and I can push, this is a cross. So as I switch to the kick, I'm going to counter her with that cross. And that's going to be a big power shot. And usually if she kicks, a lot of times what happens, this hand drops, so this punch is there anyway.